My name's Jay. I'm part of the group of traders at globaltraderoom.com. And before we get started into the presentation here, I think my presentation will be a little bit different because I don't really do a real formal, I guess you could say, PowerPoint or anything like that. I try to keep it more interactive. Hey, Jack, you're in the Philippines? Yeah. All right. Same time zone as us over here. All right. So, yeah, before we get started, this is something that needs to be addressed, and I think it's not addressed adequately enough. A lot in our industry. I know Morgan and everybody at the TradingPub they put on these events. They do talk about the risks inherent in trading, and to make sure that you understand those risks before trading any financial instrument. So I just want to let you guys know that futures, Forex, and options trading is risky. You can lose money, and therefore we encourage you only to trade with risk capital. That's money that would not affect your lifestyle or retirement plans should you use that lose that money. Obviously, past performance is not indicative of yada yada. Most of you have heard it all before. The reason I like to focus on this a little bit at the beginning is a lot of different educators and mentors out there. They focus on the potential rewards, and that's great. What we like to focus on is mitigating risk and trading in a logical manner, using the mechanics of what's really driving the market. If you talk to anybody who's worked at on a trading desk at a firm or a hedge fund, commodity pool operator, any of them will tell you that risk is first and foremost. For example, there's firms out there, they have it would look like a football field of traders at their desks, and all those traders are not trading the same instruments. They're not trading the same time frames. Some are trading options, some are trading Forex, some are trading futures, some are trading stocks. And the whole idea behind that is to mitigate risk. Okay, so the firm's capital isn't over allocated in one sector or one instrument type. So it's important to understand the risks and to focus on not only the profits that you're trying to make, but also on limiting the losses. Okay, I think it was Paul Tudor Jones who said that basically what it comes down to is managing risk. So I encourage you to read through the risk disclosure and our refund policy on the website. It's there for a reason. We don't just put it up just to meet the regulations. It's for your own education and protection. And every once in a while I read through the entire thing myself, and it's refreshing to go through it and understand exactly why those regulations are put in place. All right, so it's all about controlling risk. Now, if you go to our main website, globaltraderoom.com, that should be what you're seeing on the screen right now. The great thing about us is we have trials every Tuesday, okay? And you can register for those trials. We run what we call the GTR, the Global Trade Room, obviously. But the GTR session is the U.S. morning session, which runs from 8 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. Eastern. And you can register, obviously next Tuesday we've got a trial, March 18th. You can register for that trial and come in and see what we're doing. Oh, excellent, Maverick. Yeah, you're welcome. Everybody is welcome to come back, as many times as it takes for you to get a feel for what we're doing and how we trade. So I'm glad you enjoyed it. So yeah, the link is on the page there. You just scroll down. we've got testimonials from different people. One of the things that we pride ourselves on is most of our education is actually done in live market conditions. Okay, we actually have Simon, who's a registered CTA, okay, calling the trades in the GTR from that 8 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. Eastern time every day. Okay, so and when the market, obviously, when we don't have trials, we're educating our members on our methodology. And the great thing about it is we're doing it during live market conditions. Most of our training is not after the fact. If you go into our member section, which I'll show you later, the member section has great resources in terms of videos. And the thing is that all those videos were taken during live market conditions. You know, a member's question would come up, or Simon would take a trade or call a trade, and whether or not the trade was successful, if a question came up, he would actually acknowledge and address that question and start recording part of the session to address that. So we pride ourselves on, you know, live training, not after the fact. So that's one of the things that you'll get as a lifetime member. So, you know, we try to be as transparent as possible as well. If you scroll further down on the page, you'll see that this year we've started a live track record. Okay, so if you scroll down further on the page on the left-hand side, you'll see it says live track record here. You can actually click on that. So since about mid-January, we've started keeping track of all the calls made by Simon in the GTR. Okay, and I see we got people from all over the world on the site right now. Singapore, right? You're in the same time zone. So you can click on that live track record. There's lots of videos on here explaining and giving examples, video of our live trading sessions. There's a ton of resources and free education on this site. So I would really encourage you to do your due diligence, okay? Do your homework. Go through our website and you'll see you know, the testimonials here. These are people that are actually, you'll, as a trial, when you come in for the trial, and as well as when you become a lifetime membership, these people, Bill, Brent, Bruce, they actually exist, okay? these are no BS testimonials. So when, you know, when someone like Bruce says here that he reduced his stops from 15 to 20 ticks to 3 to 5 ticks, and with, you know, 80% probability, you know, Bruce, Brent, these people, you actually see them in the room, okay? So you know. Test, test. We still here? Okay. Can you guys still see the screen? Because it just says that it's no app, and you can't see the screen. All right. Let me see. Okay. It says connecting here. Connecting, no applications. Try desktop sharing again. Okay. Very good. Thank you. Okay, there we go. Screen's back up, yes? Okay, all right. Thanks, everybody. Thanks, Valerie, Tamara. All right. In 2006, just as a side note, Simon was listed is one of the world's top 5 Forex traders. But yeah, these, Bob is that since joined us, okay? Bob has a Wall Street background, all right? Jimmy, he's another one of our floor traders that's come over to us. We have a lot of guys who are with institutions or have the Wall Street experience. I mean, you guys have heard Kai before, and his story. His famous trade. He always says his best trade was leaving Bear, leaving Bear before it collapsed. So, we really are building a community of traders, and with the idea of having traders all over the world and coming together, trading a similar methodology or at least a similar understanding of, yeah, exactly. And you got to ask yourself why they've come over to us. Yeah, exactly. They're looking to regain that edge. Nevertheless, the knowledge that they bring with them, it makes us all that more effective in teaching our methodology and helping other people, whether they're just retail or whether they're from that kind of background, adapt to today's marketplace. So you can scroll further down on the website. There's more videos. All these guys in here: Bob A, VJ. I think that's Vinod, Frank. All these things. They're real. These are real people that you'll see in the room. Okay. So I encourage you to go through the website. If you click on more and then scroll down, click on education. There's all videos in here, channel trading, examples of our methodology. There's lots of free resources in here. I mean, you can check out this trading plan template, a lesson a day for traders. We put these videos and audios and books up here. It's not just for no reason. You get an idea of what our mindset is and where we're coming from. And any of these things can help improve your trading. We've done joint webinars with Dr. Kenneth Reed. Okay, so there's a video from him, the 7 stages of trader development. He talks about the trading with ADD, or adult ADD as he calls it. The website, Nag, it's www.globaltraderoom.com. Okay, globaltraderoom.com. Right, so you can check that out. So that's kind of the first aspect of our presentation. I encourage you to go to the website, register for trials. We have them every Tuesday. You'll see Simon trade his live account in front of you, all right? And he'll be calling trades. He is a registered CTA. We have 3 sessions, okay? We have a Asian session, which usually runs from 8 p.m. Eastern to 10 p.m. Eastern. I host that session. We have the GTR, as I said, which is from 8 a.m. Eastern to 12:30 p.m. Eastern. That's the U.S. morning session. And we also have Kai hosting the afternoon session. Okay. So basically, you got 3 or 4 different members: myself, Simon, Kai, and now Bob. We're co-hosting these sessions, and you've got 3 different time zones, 3 different sessions that you can attend. So even if you're holding down a day job while you're trying to get your trading business going, you can still come home at night and join us for the Asian session. And we have lots of education during that session, and we look at markets like the Aussie dollar and the Japanese yen. And if you've got time, well then, great. You can join us in the GTR in the U.S. morning, or in the LTR in the afternoon with Kai. So that's basically the first part of the presentation, or introduction and familiarization with our website. There's actually a video there on the main page, how to prepare for the trial, so you can get your domes up, get your charts up. We talk about which markets we're looking at during the trial session. Okay. Little bit, Bob. That's a good question. We're gonna be bringing that back at some point. Okay. We didn't do the London. We had a London session going for a while. There wasn't a lot of interest, but a lot of people are asking about it now. So we're gonna be bringing that back. I don't have an exact day on it, but we're gonna be bringing it back. We'll probably have a date on that in the next couple weeks here. So just a little bit about my history and where I came from. My background was in management and venture capital with a number of companies, right? Specifically turnaround situations. But those deals, they don't come around all the time, maybe once, twice, 3 times a year. Me and my partners are really specific about what we look for before we're going to go into a company. And so that allowed me the opportunity, the time, the free time to actually, pursue trading. I started out like a lot of people. I started trading stocks during the .com era, all right, or just post .com, and that was that. I really didn't have any emotional attachment to it at all. It was I thought it was just kind of interesting, and okay, well, this is trading, okay, and nice. I moved over to Forex more in 2003, 2004, and traded on and off in between the other deals that I was doing. And then I guess towards 2010, 2011, I looked at futures, and I guess it was in 2012, I thought, well, this is a waste of my time. So if any of you have ever gotten to the point where you're ready to quit, that's where I was before I found Simon and Kai at Global Trade Room. I was really ready to quit. I had had enough. I thought, this trading thing, I'm just wasting my time. I need to concentrate more on my other deals and investing. So I was pretty much fed up. But I had been receiving Simon's newsletters and his videos. I guess it was for about 6 months, maybe even a year or longer. But I think it was in the last, 3 to 6 months of last half of 2012, where I was really getting frustrated with trading, that I kind of started to pay attention to his videos and his newsletters. And the guy would send out these newsletters and videos, and in the videos he would say, the market will go to this price. It's not up to you, me. It will go here, and that's that. And I would just laugh. I'd be like, the moxie on this guy to be able to try to say something like that, right? I thought, who is he kidding, right? I often say I thought, what an idiot, because I really did. But then, time and time again, I'd see him call in certain levels in the marketplace, and the price would inevitably end up going to that level. Or he'd say, okay, I'm waiting for the price to come to this level. I will initiate a trade once we get to this level, and then it should go all the way down to this level. And he would call it ahead of time. He'd send out the video saying, okay, this is what I'm going to be looking for. You guys can go check the market. This is what the price is right now. This is what I'm looking for. And so I would actually do that. I would say, okay, is he BSing, or is this for real? So I would actually go and check. Okay, yeah, no, that is the price right now. Okay, I see the level he's looking at, and he would go and no, not at all, John. We're only about a third of the way through here. And he would say, okay, we're gonna take this trade. So I'd actually go and check that market and check the price and see, okay, yeah, that's where we are, and this is where he says it's going. And sometimes I would remember to go and check and see what happened, or I forget about it, and he would send out a follow-up video. He'd say, see, I said the market would go to here, that I'd initiate a trade if we got here, if the conditions were right. He'd do it, and then he send out the follow-up video saying, okay, I took the trade, here's the trade, here's where the market went, and away we go. So I started thinking, okay, maybe this guy actually has something here. He would talk about these price magnets or brackets that he would call them, and I'll be showing you those in a few minutes here. And inevitably, the price would end up going to these levels. So I was intrigued, but to tell you the honest truth, I was fed up. I thought, nah, forget it. I'm done with this trading thing. Let's leave it alone. Concentrate on something else. One of the things that occurred to me though was, why would someone like Kai, who worked on a desk, who could get a job at any firm, he pretty much wanted to, having his pedigree, Wall Street pedigree, why would he be interested in working with someone like Simon? That was one thing that kind of stuck in my mind. I thought, okay. Well, so late 2012, even after watching the videos and newsletters, I kind of didn't even trust my own judgment. I don't know if any of you have been to that place in your trading, but I didn't even trust my own judgment. So I thought, okay, well, I'm gonna take a couple weeks off, and I actually met with my good friend, business partner, and mentor. I met with him. I said, I've been doing this trading thing. He said, yeah. I said, well, I think I'm had enough. I'm gonna pack it up. Time to hang up the mouse. And he's like, oh, really? And I said, yeah. I said, but there's this guy Simon. He seems to have something. He's got these price magnets. There's a guy named Kai who's joined him, who's a Wall Street guy. I'm wondering why this guy is having anything to do with a retail trader. And I don't know. Maybe you want to check it out. He says, sure, I'll check it out. So he looked at it. He did the exact same thing that I just described to you. Yeah, exactly, Brady. You'll see Simon trade with a 2 to 3 tick stop or 2 to 4 tick stop on crude oil, and you just shake your head. How do you do that? But time and time again, you'll see him get trade with that stop and then end up getting a 70 tick profit. It's crazy, and that's what I was seeing. That's why I didn't really believe what I was seeing or trust my own judgment in seeing that. So I had that friend look at what Simon was doing, and he did the exact same thing that we're asking you to do, and that I did. I was exactly where you guys are. I was on the side of the looking from the outside in, just like you are right now. And I did the same thing. I went to the trials every Tuesday for about, I don't know, a month and a half, 2 months, to see what it was that Simon was doing. It had piqued my interest, and my business partner and good friend, my mentor, he did the same thing. When I asked him to look at it, he did the same thing. He went into the trials. He looked at all the videos. I sent him all the newsletters I had received and all the links to the videos that I had received, and he went in and did the same thing. Yeah, exactly, Brian. Brian said, he says, yeah, price will go here. Yeah, exactly. That was what was crazy. I was like, how did easier to learn futures than options? I don't know. Maybe you want to ask Kai about that. During our trial session, Kai's really good with the options. Did a lot of options plays during earnings season last year. That was really good, and we're really getting into the Nadex options as well. So in any event, my friend came back to me a couple weeks later and he said, hey, let's go for lunch. So we went for lunch. He said, after lunch, he said, hey, I checked out Simon. I attended his trials. Um, it really looks like he's got something different in the price magnets and in the way he trades. And most of all, he seems to be consistent. And so he said, you might want to give this guy a shot. So I did. I became a member in late 2012, and I did my due diligence and homework over the holiday season, Christmas, New Year's, and come mid-January in 2013, I hit the ground running. And it took about 30 to 60 days for me to kind of figure out what was going on and familiarize myself with the price magnets and the methodology, the ACE methodology as we call it. And within about 60 days, my trading turned around. I was consistently winning. And that's one of the things that we've changed this year is we've started to put our track record on there to show the consistency. We would always say our track record is our videos, our track record is yada yada. You can come in and see us trade all the time and you'll see the track record. But I guess a lot of people just want to see it on a spreadsheet or some kind of printout. So anyway, it's on the website now. You can scroll down on the homepage and it's there, a track record since mid-January. Yeah, after about 30 to 60 days, my trading completely turned around. About 5 to 6 months after I joined, Simon asked me, he said, hey, would you like to host another room? I said, okay, sure, sounds okay. Give it a shot. And since then, I've been moderating the Asian session and also co-hosting the U.S. morning session with Simon. So that's kind of my background. So if you're where I was, you're ready to quit, or you've looked at pretty much every indicator that's out there, and you're still not satisfied or you're not getting results, I really encourage you, take the first step. Go to our website, register for the trials, come in on Tuesdays, see Simon trade. I'll be in the room with him. Usually Kai's in there as well, and Bob. So, and do your due diligence, check out the website, ask the questions. We're always open to answering questions during the trials, and if you're shy, you can email us, info@globaltraderoom.com, or if you want to email me personally, it's jay@globaltraderoom.com. But do your due diligence, check out everything on the website. There's lots of resources there, lots of videos that you can go through and get a feel for what we're doing. Okay. Now, let's see. I'm going to just talk a little bit about our methodology, and then I'm going to go into our indicators, and then I think we'll come to the end of the presentation. So any questions before we continue? Jack, trading with live on screen share with the group. Are you trading with demo, real money at risk? I have real money at risk. Simon has real money at risk. Okay, Simon he's a registered CTA. All right, he will show his live account, and unless he states otherwise, he's trading, and he will tell you exactly. He's always on live unless he specifically says, okay, I've met my profit target for the day, I'm switching to sim. You will actually hear him say that. Yep, money talks. Money talks. So you'll actually see a live CTA taking trades on his live account when you come in for the trials on Tuesday. So yes, he is trading on his live account. Okay. And there is some legal issue with that too. If you're not registered or something, you shouldn't be showing or trading your live account. Need to double check that, but that's my understanding. So anyway, yes, you will see a live CTA trading his live account. All right. Have you learned enough that you can trade without Simon? Yes. But I think that there's always more to learn. And you know, with the group that we have now, I wouldn't leave our group. Ours, like it says on the website, it's a lifetime membership. You know, stuff in life happens, and the great thing about ours, it's a lifetime membership, and you can always come back. So I wouldn't leave our group anyway, Bob. Yeah, once you found a group that you like, and you know, if they've helped you become consistent, or you know, reduce your risk or increase your profitability, I mean, why would you leave them, right? And we get new members all the time, right? And it seems that the quality and the experience of our members keeps increasing as well, right? All right. So I'm just going to talk quickly here about our methodology and one of the things that makes us different, okay? Forgive my chicken scratch, okay? Our methodology is ACE, okay? That's the acronym that Simon came up with. And basically that stands for anticipate, confirm, execute. All right? I told you guys, no fancy PowerPoints today. Just good, just relevant information, okay? Yeah, exactly, RB. No slides, man. I'm not doing that. I have a PowerPoint. It's all nice. There's tons of information on it, you know. But you know, I just want to get down to the meat, okay? The heart of the matter, all right? Okay. So anticipate, confirm, execute. The anticipate, okay? The anticipate, that's your technical analysis, okay? Can some people throw out some technical analysis methodologies out there? You know, whether it's, okay, let's put fibs, okay, that's a common one, right? What else is out there? What else do we have in terms of technical analysis? Trend lines, right? What else? Candlesticks? Yeah, candlesticks are good. Yeah, it's a good candlestick. Let's call it candles here. Okay. Moving averages. Okay. Yeah, it's MAs. All right. Trend line, support, resistance. Okay. JW, JW and JM. At least you guys are on the right path, man. Yeah, that. We'll get into that. RSI. Yeah. RSI. Yeah, yeah. Channels count. Yeah. Yeah, we'll get into that too, RB. We'll get into that as well. Okay, so yeah, fibs, trend lines, candles, MAs, Elliott wave, right? Elliott wave theory. What else is out there? No, there's tons of stuff. MACD, right? Divergence. Yeah, the stocks, stochastics. Okay. All right. So yeah, the anticipate. I mean, we're all anticipating our trades usually, right? Okay. We're anticipating a level, right? Like that, Valerie? Yeah, no, I told you, no fancy PowerPoint today. I've got it, but I just find this much more effective. And people are like, "Whoa, this guy's crazy. He's doing his presentation on a on a paint." Yeah, exactly. Well, you got to think differently, right? LRs, yeah, there's tons of them out there. So anyway, you anticipate a level, okay? Whether it's using your fibs, your trend lines, candles, moving averages, support resistance, RSI, um, Elliott wave theory, MACD, all right, divergence, stochastics, okay? And see, we got a lot of advanced people in here, which is great. But the confirmation, okay? The problem that I see out there in the marketplace, and I saw in my own trading, was the confirmation, all right? A lot of people out there were using, let's say they're using fibs to trade or trend lines to trade, and then they're using a MACD to confirm their entry, okay? Or they're using RSI to confirm their entry, or they're using divergence to confirm their entry, right? Yeah, exactly. And people always want to jump ahead of the confirmation too, right? Okay. So this is the weakness I saw in my own trading, all right? Basically, the flaw is using the technical to confirm the technical. Does that make sense? Yeah, exactly. Pauline took the horizontal. It's the blind leading the blind, right? You still have to have a level, okay? You still have to have the anticipating part of your trading. The area, the price point that you're looking at taking a trade. So technical analysis is still valid, and all that knowledge you have about it, it's still relevant, okay? The problem is when you use the technical to confirm the technical, particularly if you're using, let's say you're using a MACD, or a stochastic or RSI or something like that to confirm your fib level or to confirm your moving average or to confirm your wave bottom of wave 2, whatever it is, right? Okay, that's where people go wrong. Okay, and that's what I saw in my trading, because the structure of the market is actually based on volume, right? So somebody was saying volume or volume divergence. Yeah, that's a possibility. The way we read it is based on the bid-ask tape or the footprint. Okay. All right. And the volume we read it is based on our ACT indicator. And the volume, the way we read it, is based on the price magnets. Okay. Okay. The bid-ask or the footprint, right? The order flow, right? Yeah, exactly, Paul. This indicator confirming that indicator. Yeah, look at the agreement. Yeah. See, that doesn't make sense, okay? Technical to confirm technical? No. No. That's the weakness, okay? That's what leads people astray and leads them into the trouble, because it's the volume that actually leads the market, okay? I heard somebody came into one of our webinars and said something, declared that price and time determines the price movement. And I was like, what? I think I understood what the guy was trying to say, but it's fundamentally illogical. What moves the market is money, right? Money moves the market. Why? Money creates the contracts or the lots or the stock that creates the volume, and that's what moves the market. Money moves the market. The biggest players control the market because they have the most money. So how are you going to detect where they're active? Your fib isn't going to tell you that there's a big player in there. Your trend line isn't going to tell you that there's a big player at that level. Your support resistance isn't going to tell you. Your RSI isn't going to tell you. Your divergence isn't going to tell you. Okay? None of that's going to tell you. You have to be analyzing the volume. Okay? Brian. Yeah, you could turn things upside down on me, sure. Yeah. Not the way the institutions are playing, not the way they're playing, Don. Okay? Because the institutions, they have to go where the volume is. They don't go where the technical is, they go where the volume is. If I want to sell or buy, 50,000 contracts, I have to go where the volume is to do that, right? Okay? So the institutions, the big players, they go where the volume is, okay? That there's no other choice. I mean, I think Kai has talked about that when he's come in here before, okay? All right, so let's go. We're about 2/3 of the way through this, okay? And then we're gonna go into the indicators, and then we're done, okay? Indicators, offer, and then we're done. But this is the concept, okay? If you understand this, that yes, technicals are relevant because you want to look for an area, right? And we also look at the market profile, right? Or volume profile, all right? Okay. And that's the market profile is the volume, right? It's based on the volume, right? Okay. So if you get anything out of this webinar, one is come to our trials, see what we're doing. Two, understand that if you're not using the volume, and I'll get into it about Forex. Okay, I'll get into it about Forex and volume there as well in a minute. But understand that if you're not using volume in your trading, you're severely handicapping yourself. Okay, you gotta be looking at the order flow. Gotta be looking at where is the big volume? That's where the big players have to be active, right? Okay. I would say executed orders leads price. Maverick. Yeah. Yeah, Tony will get to act. Price. I think I answered that, Sean, but as far as I'm concerned, the volume leads the price. Okay. Like somebody said, price. They said price and time determines price movement. No, the money does, and the money is translated into the contracts or stocks or lots, and that creates the volume. Okay. So the last part of the ACE methodology, execute. Okay. So we use the technicals. Okay. You can still, when you become a member, you can still use whatever particular technical that you like to use, whatever it is, fibs, candles. I heard somebody talking about candles earlier, that they like candles. That's great. Okay, you can still use that. Thing is, you need to start confirming that with the volume, and we can show you how to read the bid ask in the way that we do, and we have some indicators that are going to help you become more precise in your trading. Okay. Okay. So execute. So once you've got the confirmation, that's the C, the confirmation, then we execute. Okay. Without the confirmation, I can't harp enough on it, then we don't trade. And that was a big thing that was missing in my trading. All right. Okay. Now, what got me interested in this from the very beginning was this. Okay. You see some blue lines sticking out from the chart. Okay. These lines are the price magnets, all right? These are a formula that Simon figured out. He has a math background. These are a formula that Simon figured out within the bid-ask tape, okay? And I'll explain how we're getting this on Forex in a minute. But he figured this out, and basically these are key levels that we're going to be looking for the market to react when it comes back to those levels. So, you know, if I was long right now on the pound on cable, all right, you know, I'd be looking at just below 6,800 for a target. If I was short, you know, for example, I would probably be looking at somewhere above 64, around 64.60 as a target. Okay, and these, you know, this is to the tick. Once these are taken out, they disappear. Okay, so they're on the chart. It's based on what's going on in the background. I'll show it to you on 6B. Here's a 6B chart. This is the futures. Okay, same thing. All right. There's a price magnet up here around 67.50. Got another one down at what? Looks like 65.90, something like that. Okay. So obviously, if I'm short, 65.95 is somewhere where is something that I'm gonna look for. And on the top side, 67.05, that area, that's something that I'm gonna look for. Note this is on a 3-minute chart. You can place these on any kind of chart, and you'll get different price magnets. I'm just showing this just as an example. Okay. All right. So this is the price magnet. The way we're getting this, okay, I've got them set. I've got 2 sets on the futures contract. I've got one set to up down tick, and the other set to bid ask, because the bid ask is available in the futures. Yes, it's NinjaTrader. Okay, the price magnets, the act indicator, and the power lines, those are all available on NinjaTrader and on Sierra charts. Okay. And usually the higher the time frame that you put these on, usually the more powerful that they are. So, you know, in doing any kind of top-down analysis, we'll usually look at the price magnets that are on a larger time frame. But this is taken from within the actual volume, within the bid-ask tape, okay, or the footprint. All right. No, it's not the cumulative delta. Okay. It's based on what's going on within the bid-ask tape. It's a formula. I'm not privy to what the actual formula is. Okay, that's something that Simon developed. All right, but I can tell you that time and time again that the price will come to these levels. I kind of laugh saying it because that's what I thought was ridiculous, that Simon used to say the price will come to these levels at some point. Okay, so in terms of how it can help your trading, you know, if I've got a price magnet, let's say I wanted to go long right now. I was looking for a long at this level, but now I've got this price magnet down here below me. I might want to hold off on going long until that price magnet gets taken. Okay. So the great thing about the price magnets is they can make your profit targets much more precise. Usually I like to take profit just 1 or 2 ticks, 1 or 2 ticks below or above the price magnet, depending on which side I'm on. And that's what really helps me be more precise in my targets. All right. So those are the price magnets. I'm not gonna go over them a ton right now. I want to get into the power lines and the act indicator. Okay, I'll actually put the power lines on this chart here. So we are power lines. All right, power lines. Okay. What's unique about our power lines that I'm going to show you in a minute is that you can adjust the breach and the look back on these. All right. So for instance, I like to have a breach of about 10 ticks, all right, and a look back period of 30. What I like about it is that being able to adjust the breach means, have you ever drawn, for example, have you ever drawn a trend line and then, it gets breached by a few ticks or, 5 ticks or whatever, and you think, well, okay, it's broken, the trend line's irrelevant, I should be looking to trade the other side. And then the market turns around and then goes the other way, right? Or goes your anticipated direction. Well, what by doing this, having an adjustable breach, we avoid that, so that unless it breaches by whatever you specify, the power line is not going to disappear. Okay, so I'm just going to put that on. It'll take a minute. Okay, here we are. Maybe I should show this on a longer chart. 3 minutes is a bit tight. We'll put it on this 15-minute chart of the pound. Let's look back to 100. Okay, so this is on a 15-minute chart. I personally like it on a 30 or 60, but you get the idea. So it's an automated trend line indicator. What's different about it is it's based on fractals, like a lot of trend line indicators are out there, but what it's done is it's incorporated the tape into it, all right? It's incorporated the bid-ask. So these lines only get drawn when the volume confirms, okay, in terms of either lack of buying or lack of selling, okay? And unless we breach these, I've got it set to 10 ticks, so unless we breach these by 10 ticks, they're going to stay on the chart, okay? So those are the power lines. They'll work on any market, doesn't matter. You can see the work on Forex, the work on the futures. We don't have it as a standalone, Sean. It's part of our lifetime membership. Okay. And yes, we do look at market profile. There's the way that we read the market profile. So yeah, we are looking at not necessarily TPOs, but market profile, volume profile. All right. Okay. So that's the power line indicator. What I really want to get into, other than the price magnets and the power line, is the tape and the ACT indicator. Okay. So I'll look at the ACT indicator first. This is the dollar yen. All right. This is a dollar yen chart. Okay. If you're not familiar with this and you're like me, this looked like a spreadsheet gone mad. Okay. I thought this was a crazy thing. I thought, how the heck am I going to be able to read this? Especially when the market is moving quickly. One of the things that we have that'll help you do that is something called the ACT indicator. All right. Now this is the tape, okay, but it's set to up-down tick because this is a Forex market, right? We don't have bid-ask in the Forex, right? So what I've done is I've adjusted this. I've adjusted this so that it's we're just looking at the up-down tick data, but it helps us read the Forex as well. Okay. All right. What you see down here, there's a couple arrows down here. All right. Down in this area, the blue arrows down there. Here and here. All right. Those arrows are the ACT indicator telling us that there's a lack a lack of selling. Okay. All right. No, it's not. It's not imbalanced, Jeff. But it's telling us that there's a lack of selling. Okay. All right. We do have another indicator that I'll talk about in a minute. But this is what we would use to look at the Forex. Okay, because we can set this up down tick, and the ACT indicator will pick up the lack of selling or lack of buying. So you can see as the yen sold off here, the dollar yen sold off, and we came down here at about 20 after 11. In that range, the ACT indicator started to detect, hey, wait, there's lack of buying here, lack of buying, and then we got a good 10, 12 tick bounce out of that. All right, and these won't disappear once the bar closes and they're on the chart. They're not going to disappear on you. Okay. All right. Let's see. Do I have any others that I want to show you before we continue? This is another chart. Here's the Aussie dollar. All right. Let me see if I can find some. All right. There's no ACT indicators that have shown up here. Here's the pound dollar. Yeah, I guess it's the time of day that there's not going to be much showing up here. But what I want to show you, is something that Kai was deeply involved in the development of, which is this order flow sequence tracker. Okay, this will only work on the futures or any market that has a bid ask. Okay, it's not going to work on the Forex yet. We anticipate that it will work on the Forex. This was an indicator that is programmed by Ninjacators. Okay, and Kai was instrumental in its development in terms of consulting on what we wanted to see in this. Okay. The arrows, what it's helping us do, RB, the arrows, so to just go back to that for a minute, the arrows are helping us to confirm our trade. So let's say if I was looking for a trade, let's say at, I don't know, 62, right? Let's say I was anticipating a level of 62 on the yen, 101.62 on the dollar yen, okay? Then when it comes in here into this price level, I want to be looking to the bid ask, to look at this tape, all right, to confirm that the volume is with me if I'm going to take the trade, okay? And that's what the ACT is helping me do. It's helping me confirm the trade. So when we talked earlier about this anticipate, confirm, execute, this is helping me do the confirmation, all right? It's helping me confirm that the volume is with me, or that at least the sellers have subsided, okay? No, Diane. No, Diane. The price magnets are not. They're not that. I know that for sure. It's not on a large number of buyer sells. And the price magnets have nothing to do with that. It's a specific formula within the bid-ask tape. Okay. So yeah, the ACT indicator, it's going to help us to confirm our trades. All right. And it's a great, now I don't even really need to use the ACT, because once you learn how to read the tape the way we show it, you can see whether or not your trade's going to have a high probability just by looking at the tape. Okay, but it can assist you, and you can actually, it has an alarm, so you can fire off a doorbell sound or whatever you want. Okay, so going back to this order flow sequence tracker. Okay, I know somebody mentioned volume imbalance earlier. One of the things that we've done with this is we got indicators to actually program the volume imbalance into it. So and then you can actually bold the volume imbalance and make the font larger, so it's a lot easier to see. Okay. All right. So you got these bolded numbers, okay, and that's telling you that there's a volume imbalance in terms of the sellers or the buyers. All right. One of the things that I like about this indicator the most is that, okay, here's the Japanese yen. You can actually detect the larger buyers and sellers up here in terms of stack trades or block trades. We can see where there's unfinished business on the tape. Okay. So there's a lot of what we call openings here. There's a lot of unfinished business on the tape. Okay. We can look at trade size. We can look at block trades, stack trades. Whatever you want to look at, we've got that incorporated into this. This is part of what Kai had talked to them about in terms of getting that done. So, how much time do I have left? Looks like we're going into the last couple minutes here. All right, so that's our order flow sequence tracker. This is actually included with your lifetime membership. All right. So if you take anything away from today's presentation, guys, I would say go to our website, sign up for the free trial, come in and see Simon trade his live account in front of you. You can talk to Bob regarding our lifetime membership. Okay. I'm pretty much done, Brian. I think we're all right. I went through most of the indicators, most of the concepts that I wanted to cover, so I think we're good, Morgan. All right, you guys can come in, check out the website, come in for the free trials, and the order flow sequence tracker that I just showed you, it's actually included in the special offer for the TradingPub people that have watched us today. All right, thank you, everyone. Thanks for your time. If you want to email me directly, you can email me jay@globaltraderoom.com. Otherwise, I will see you guys in the trials on Tuesday. And great luck with the rest of the trade-a-thon. Thanks, guys.